This is Romeo with Outarian, and we are at the Dronecode Foundation, powered by Outarian event at an airport in Dübendorf, Switzerland. Just last week we were in Atlanta. Today we are here in Switzerland talking about open source, open standards, and the Outarian ecosystems and how drones are helping in public safety, disaster response, and other areas. And I have a very important and fascinating guest here with me. I'm super excited to welcome Patrick McKay from the World Food Program. They're utilizing drones in ways that are extremely impactful. Patrick, thank you so much for being here. Tell us a little bit about how you are utilizing drones. What does the World Food Program do with drones, and what kind of benefits have you seen?
Okay, look, I work for the technology division, so we deal with drones in all types of data collection, and also using drones to provide connectivity, internet, and voice access. Mostly we work in disaster response, so if there's been a big cyclone that's come through and it's flattened the city, we're there to go and map out the details. We first did this in Cyclone Idai, which was our first actual activation of drones. Where we went and we mapped out all of the areas that were affected. So normally what happens is people who want to go and see what's going on need to get onto a helicopter and they have to fly to a location, they need to go and inspect it there. The trouble is helicopters are really expensive. They cost us thousands of dollars an hour to keep in the air. So there's very few people we can do that. We'd also rather leave the helicopter to go and rescue people that need to be rescued and to go and carry food to other people. So instead what we do now is we send a drone to the location and we go and map it out. And we map it out in such high detail that if you're on site that day and you dropped your keys, you'd be able to see your keys on the map. So it's really high quality. But what this means is it means that we can give the data to UNICEF, for instance, and they can go and inspect the schools virtually, or we can give it to WHO, who can go and inspect the damage to the clinics. So that's our primary task. We've also started using drones now for emergency preparedness. What we do is we've got river systems that flood quite regularly. In fact, we've got a team in the field right now today that's actually collecting data from the Boozy River system. This is the river system that flooded during Cyclone Idai. Created a massive, what they call an inland ocean. It's a very flat area. So what we do is we go and create flood models, high quality flood models of these areas. And that tells us, how many houses are going to be affected depending on which level of water reaches. Who we need to evacuate first and where we can take them to, but it also tells us where we could expect to find survivors potentially. So if we do this work ahead of time and we do have another Cyclone Ida coming, hopefully not, it means we can react faster, we can rescue more people, we can save more lives.
It's incredible work you're doing, and it's challenging. You're in environments where potentially your infrastructure is down, power, communications. How do you deal with all of that?
Yeah, we expect the infrastructure to be down when we get there. So the World Food Program has for a long time led the emergency telecoms cluster, and it's their job to basically go and rebuild the network. Now, we've been doing this fairly a standard way for a long time. We've been putting up satellite dish, and we've been creating a hotspot for the responders to be able to work, and then we set up a radio network, and we've been giving people radios when they land. We're hoping to change that now with the use of drones. We're looking into technology using tethered drones, so drones that can fly 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And on these, we're putting a different type of antenna, so either a Wi-Fi antenna, if we're trying to reach the community around there, or now we're also looking into cell phone antennas, so blanket a city in cell phone coverage in a place where there isn't any, so we can basically give the responders a SIM card when they land and connect them to a new type of network. I think it's going to change the way we do our connectivity in future emergencies.
You just mentioned connectivity, and that was the theme for today's event. You presented about your work. Have you seen anything or learned anything at today's event that you take now with you and say, okay, I want to learn more, I want to talk more and see what can be done?
So there were two big takeaways for me. Firstly, you had the presentation from, it was a Timo from Blacknode,
Yes.
which is hugely useful for us. We've been dreaming and planning about the use of putting up our own cell phone network. But these are the guys that are actually doing it. And I started a conversation with them now. I think we're actually going to go and get together in Munich and do a demonstration. So that was really useful for me. The fact that they can set up their own cell phone network is exactly what we want to do in future emergencies. The other one was actually seeing the Quantum Vector fly. It's a drone I've been a fan of for a very long time. I couldn't afford one myself, unfortunately, but hopefully that'll change one day. What I want to do in future emergencies is I want to replace the use of helicopters for long-range assessments. I don't want to send a helicopter to that village to go and see what the damage was, and send a helicopter to that village, and then go and send a helicopter to go and do a search and rescue mission. What I want to do is have all of that work done by drones. So we send a drone to inspect, we send a drone to inspect, we send a drone to go and search, multiple drones, and the helicopter goes out and it rescues people and it brings them back, and by the time it gets back, we find the location of the next set of people that need to be rescued, and it goes off again. And I think by doing that, we're going to save a fortune in fuel costs for the helicopters. They are very expensive. But I think it'll also mean we can rescue more people and save more lives.
So this event today was really around connectivity, and we did something that was not only a first in Switzerland, but we also believe a first across Europe. We created, through our partner BlackNet, a localized network, 4G network, and we integrated our Autharian-powered quantum systems vector platform into that network. We launched it, we flew it here on the airport, we had it fully integrated into the crewed aviation space that is happening on a live airport, and we integrated also ATAC, the Android Team Awareness Kit, that is a geospatial tool to help track ground units, very helpful for disaster response, for public safety, to get real-time information of where are my team members, my ground units, and all of it in its own network. And that is what we truly believe the key to deployments in environments where we have no connectivity, little connectivity, broken down infrastructure, or we're just in a location where there is no connectivity. So very exciting. Patrick, thank you so much for your work, for leadership, for thought leadership. And it's been a pleasure working with you. We're going to do some really great things. And what's coming up for you in November?
So we've got quite a big activity coming up in Mozambique. We're doing a search and rescue study, what we think is probably one of the biggest search and rescue studies done with drones. The goal is to see what the effectiveness of drones are in a wide area search. We're using the scenario of a coastal cyclone, which is very good because that's what affects Mozambique and Madagascar quite a lot, and unfortunately are becoming a lot more frequent nowadays. So we've got 40 drones, including drones with thermal cameras. We've got a range of VTOL drones, some with live video feeds, some that can do sort of wide area mapping. We're working with the team from the University of Portsmouth, the UK International Search and Rescue team, the Institute of Search and Rescue, INSARAG, which is the UN Search and Rescue Agency. I'm hoping to convince you to come along as well, if we can do that. And over the 2-week period, so we've set up an area of search and rescue. It's about 49 square kilometers, so it is a very big area. And we've got 18 targets. 6 of them are going to be polystyrene heads, which are going to be floating in the water and been painted. 6 are going to be backpack-sized objects, and 6 are going to be actual humans. We're borrowing soldiers and putting them out in the field. And we're going to see if we can go and find them quickly using the drones. And from this, we're going to get an academic study, which is great, but we're going to also, which I think is going to make a difference in future, is get operations manuals. So if you need to do a search and rescue and you've only got DJI drones on hand, these are the steps you should take to be the most effective. If you've got fixed wing drones on hand, maybe this is what you can do. If you've got VTOL drones that can cover large areas, this is the way to operate. So we're hoping to collect all of this information, share it with the response community, and hopefully, literally save more lives in future.
This is super exciting, and it also shows that we have come to the place where we need more standardization. We need training and understanding, validation of the technology, the processes. A lot has been learned over the past years, but now is really the time to start manifesting it and really help in these types of environments.
Look, I couldn't agree more. I mean, we've been working in Mozambique now for 3 years, and we started off with DJI drones because that's what we had, that's what we could afford. And so we trained them on how to map with DJI drones. And then we went on to SenseFly EV drones, and we had to train them on a whole new system. You know, now they couldn't use their smartphone anymore, they had to use a laptop. I had to learn that interface. And we've recently bought a set of Quantum Trinity F90 Pluses, which I love. They're VTOL drones, they're easy to operate, they're easy to fly. But I had to teach the guys a third system now on how to operate. So, you know, if we can get to the point where I can get to the site using one planning tool and, the guys are ready to fly, it doesn't matter which drone they're using, it saves so much time, and time is lives, you know.
Exactly, and this is really where our vision comes into play. We are at a place where we can do one ground controller, one user interface, multiple platforms, different manufacturers integrated in the Arterian ecosystem. The time is now to move to the next level, and thank you, Patrick, for being part of it. Good luck in all your future endeavors, research studies, but actual deployments as well. And I'm looking forward